Hello, and welcome to Monday Nights Get Nuked. I am Thirsty, and tonight I shall be the entire world. And down in that direction, all my lovely shiny players, who shall be running around and blowing things up and probably putting out fires this time for the first time ever. Tonight, as with every night that we do this, we'll be playing in the nuked setting of the Spiced system, which I co-wrote with the far more industrious and well-known Volanda. So rules for chat. Don't be a tool about someone's race, don't be a tool about someone's gender, and do not be a tool or a screwdriver. Over there is Kerone, and he'll be playing Lamb again. Lamb is currently utterly fucked, having been stabbed. So, to leap on to the next step on this one, I think we shall go in Arabic reading order from Eivor.
I'm Eivor. I should be playing Zeke, the gallant and brave. He didn't run away as quickly last time. Having recently shot out a window and in an epic hail of bullets taken out at least one salt captain.
Yeah, that you did. There was something approaching heroics. So well done on that. But then you ran away. So yes, we have the valiant and ever glorious Zeke, who didn't at all run away the minute he realised how much trouble he was in. So now we have Lilth, who is silent.
Oh no.
What? No.
Ah,
Wait.
there you are.
Yay!
You were just too far away from your microphone.
I will just move closer then. I am playing Anita. She valiantly saved Lamb's life last week,
That
Yay!
she did.
risking a
Only
hail of bullets, just with a rather good roll.
Yes.
But yes, and I am the cause of the lateness tonight because my dinner arrived way too late.
See? It wasn't me. It wasn't me for once.
No.
I didn't do it.
No, we will blame a restaurant chain that shall remain nameless.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to blame them. But yeah, fair enough.
They didn't get me my pudding. It took them half an hour to get my pudding to me.
What? How
And then I
dare
had to
they?
eat it here. Just not on.
Oh. Now that's disgraceful.
It is.
I can't speak. I'm so upset by that.
Burning my house.
Half an hour pudding. Was it good?
Yes, it definitely was good. I'll give them that.
Fair enough. Oh, all right then. You're redeemed, nameless restaurant chain. Right, Spanners, save us.
Hello. I'm Spanners. I am playing the quiet, unassuming pacifist Timi.
I'm just there's a certain undercurrent of lying happening tonight that I'm just won't be party to.
Well, look, if Zeke's allowed to say that he's not a massive wuss and
You mean
runs
tactical
away and
genius?
leaves us,
I'm sure tactical genius is
yeah.
Expert survivalist is.
serial survivor.
Timmy's lovely.
Yeah. Sometimes. Right. So there, we finally got that done. Oh god. So there's our first technical issue out of the way. Our first mic not working properly, and we've managed to get everyone introduced and chat rules read. So,
Yay.
as the sharper witted of us will recall, I hope one of you does. You are currently standing aboard a ship called the Breaking
Yay.
Wave. that you broke a large burning hole in
Oops.
with your big, big bada boom. Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, you. And,
My bad.
yes. Which subsequently set fire to the horrible oily deck. And probably quite a lot of below decks as well. Which wouldn't really matter. You know, you're at sea, there's plenty of water. Huzzah! Apart from this ship is carrying 3 very, very large mortars on the deck. Well, sort of, yeah. Through a hatch on the deck. And you notice that the ammo for that is just stacked in the open. So, sooner or later, things are going to go wrong with this scenario. Now, in an attempt to... I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if you were entirely sure what your aim was here. You stormed the bridge and murdered the entire bridge crew.
Sorry.
Yes. Which then left the ship listing to starboard. And none of you knew how to rectify that, because none of you were trained bridge crew. And none of you wanted to hazard a try at turning a wheel. So, here you are, aboard what is ostensibly a small container ship, with a large fire, a great deal of explosives, listing lazily towards your friends on the Bottle and Bride. There is a large hole in the deck immediately ahead of you. I think Anita and Zeke are holding a hose between them. And there's a large smoking hole in front of you with some fire on the other side of it, and an awful lot of fire beyond it. You've just... I believe we just got to the point where you'd realised that you can save this ship and then have to work out how to steer it. Or die. Basically, you're essentially riding on a fire ship that's going to collide with a far friendlier ship that you actually want to keep in one piece. You don't know how to steer the ship. The people manning the engine room don't know anything's wrong. Well, they know there's a fire. And they gave you a hose. But they don't know to stop or turn or anything like that. They're just doing as they've been told. So here you are, assembled on the walkway. Just outside of the main mess area where you previously broke in. All of you, with the post-gen Schmoopy carrying Lamb, the rather unhealthy-looking Schmoopy, and the very unhealthy-looking Lamb. I believe that Timi had just got through with thwacking Lamb on the foot with something heavy to make him feel better.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that was Timmy's type of medicine.
Yes. Because everyone knows when you're in enormous pain, what you need to do is hurt yourself somewhere else to distract you. It makes perfect sense. So, here you are. You have a hose. You have an enormous smoking hole in the ground. You have a large fire. And you have an out-of-control boat. What do you do?
I was planning to try and put some more of the fire out.
Excellent. You have a big, bucking hose. Well, Zeke, are you helping with this hose, or are you just standing near it? We established you picked it up, but I think that might have been more of a, you were trying to abseil off the side of the boat into your skiff or something. Which we've now established is not there.
Yes, on seeing that the skiff is no longer there and this hose is now semi-useless, Zeke will assist in Anita's putting out of the fire, whilst also over sort of the roar of the water coming out, the gentle gush of water coming out the end, shouting for Jerry. As last we left him, he was in the stairway.
I think Jerry's on the top of someone's bag at the moment. I think, yeah. So yeah, Jerry climbs out of Anita's bag and Like, what? Yeah.
Don't suppose you can find his way off, can you, lad?
Yeah. And
Off ground. So yeah, off ground, and sort of send him off to search for an alternative escape.
okay. Well, yeah, we know how this works, don't we? We roll his perception dice. Woo, shit. Okay, yeah. In that manner of like a dog that's trying to work out what you're saying because it's a dog. Both of Jerry's heads like turn sort of opposites. Do the little 45-degree incline in opposite directions. Before sort of nodding and headbutting each other lightly. And Jerry runs off back inside the mess that you've just come out into the dark. And he's gone for a bit. But here you are with a hose pointing it at some fire. So I want everyone who's hot touching the hose. Timi, you can help if you want. Schmoopy is very busy. To give me a straight strength. This is a big ass hose being driven by an industrial pump.
Well, that couldn't get much worse. My total is 4.
Mm-hmm.
7.
Yeah. Should be 3 numbers coming out of this.
Is there? Oh no, there would have been. In which case, yeah, 11, not natural.
Yeah, I like that. Yes, you manage what should be impossible. This damn thing is meant to be manned by a full team, especially when it's in full flow like this. But you manage to wrestle this damn hose down and like, open the valve thing on the end all the way. It wasn't properly closed, but you wrestle it the rest of the way open, and a gout of horrible, slightly greenish water bursts out. Once again, you get big old gouts of steam from it hitting this horrible, horrible fire. The steam kind of hurts. It's not great. Your eyes sting, the back of your throat. You're kind of glad Jerry's not here. But yeah, the fire in the lower decks, because the fire sort of around the sort of the hot surface metal is pretty much gone from the efforts earlier. But the fire's raging away in the lower decks start to sort of calm down a fair bit. There's still fire on the deck, but it's just burning off like oily refuse mainly. But yeah, the fires that you can see are definitely calming down. That seems good, but there is a lot of steam now, sort of washing over you. So I want everyone to take an endurance poison.
I'm going to burn a legendary point.
Endurance poison, that would be a 10.
9.
7.
Is that 7 or 11?
7.
7.
9.
9. Okay. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You all take a level of exposure.
Ooh.
What is your current level of exposure, Lamb?
My current level
Yeah.
is 4.
4.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Well, you now go to level 5, which takes you now into the new exposure bracket of knackered.
Hooray!
You now have a -2 to all rolls. An additional -2, you gain 2 levels of suffering. And none of your perks work anymore. You're just too knackered.
Anyway.
Okay. Eivor, how many levels of exposure did you have? 3.
I'm up to 3.
You now are up 4. You take a. No, if you have a level of suffering, you keep it. If you don't, you gain 1.
Okay.
And you take d6 damage. Woo! 4. You take 4 damage.
Exposure level 3 hurts.
Yes. Right. Timi. 2.
I was at 1, I got up to 2.
Okay. You are now into gasping. You gain a level of suffering if you didn't already have one. And you take 2 damage.
Oh,
And Anita. You're at suffering level 1. You're exposure level 1, yeah?
Yep.
You have gone from nothing to slightly weary.
Yes, but I'm also a rotter.
Yep. So you don't care at all.
Nope.
You're always a bit weary.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Life has taken its toll on you already. Yes. But yeah, there's a bit of coughing. There's some rather unpleasant looking sort of, grot in your spit as you cough things up. Your eyes hurt, your throat hurts. It's uncomfortable, but you've endured worse. Notably, Lamb, you've endured worse. Recently, in fact, currently. But yes, yeah, the fires seem to be under control. This point, yeah, why not? At this point, Jerry comes back, and yeah, he's Jerry, so he just goes, yeah. He's looking very happy.
So Zeke will put the hose down and sort of lean down to her and go, which way, boy?
He does that thing kind of like a spaniel. He stands very straight and points, but because he's got 2 heads, he kind of points in 2 different directions. But both are towards the door. It's not the same way.
Zeke will head to the door in the median direction.
Okay. Jerry runs along ahead of you. What are the rest of you doing? While Zeke buggers off with Jerry.
It looks like we've got most of the fire out, Anita's going to head back to the bridge to see if she can work out how to steer this thing.
Well, you've got the fire immediately below the hole you made. There might still be fires elsewhere in the lower decks, because fire spreads. But the hole that you're spraying water into is just steam coming back out of it now. There's still smoke around, but the majority of what's coming out this hole seems to be steam.
How's the fire near where all the ammo is?
Oh, there's still lots of fire on the deck. It's that's where all the horrible oily black smoke's coming from. You can't tell how much fire is on the deck. You can just see some, and lots of black smoke.
Probably she would point the hose towards there then.
Okay. Yep. So you're going to attempt to wrestle this writhing anaconda hose that way. Timi, what are you doing?
Glaring at my kids. So at the minute, Shmoopy is still holding Lamb. And how far away is Shmoopy from us at the moment?
Shmoopy's probably not very far away from you at all. He's probably sort of took a little while to navigate the doorway, because as we recall, he's not good at doors. But he's had a little while. He's just sort of managed to elbow his way back out as Jerry came back in. So he's standing back a bit with Lamb.
Okay. And the hole that we've been spraying water into is just kind of gently steaming.
Yeah.
Can we see anything down there at all? Or is it just...
You can see lots of, like, scorched up boxes, slagged out sort of partition walls, internal doors that got melted and subsequently been blackened with fire. There seems to be corridors and things down there. It's kind of like looking into an archaeological dig site. You can see like the outlines of walls that only stand about a foot high.
And Shmoopy with his like really large limbs, how easy would it be for him to lower one of us down there?
He'd have to put Lamb down,
Hmm.
which might not be the best thing for Lamb.
Ow.
But it's probably only about 8 feet down. You could jump.
Okay. In which case, Timi is going to leave Lamb in the capable hands of Shmoopy, and is going to gently, but probably not, let's be honest, jump down into the storage area.
That's right, folks. It took 20 minutes, but they've already split up. But yes, okay, there we are. Right, so you've jumped down. Anita's left on her own, trying to man this like 6-man hose. Fair enough. So, yeah, give me a strength. You need to manhandle this enormous goddamn hose.
6.
Yeah, as Zeke steps away and you kind of go like, oh, it feels like it might be blocked or something. It starts like shaking more. And then Timi jumps past you. And the damn thing just like swings wildly out of your arm. Like someone's just like cracked it like a whip. Give me a reflex. Duck and cover. This thing's just like flown like maybe like 10, 12 feet in the air, like the metal end piece. Nice. Which way are you diving?
Right.
Who are you following? Is the better question there.
Zeke.
Okay. You're going to dive back inside the mess with Zeke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kerone, give me a... Just roll a d12. Tell me what you get.
7.
7.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, the hose sort of lashes Shmoopy. Because he's the only person left out there, really, and he's cradling you. Yeah, it like rears up like 10 feet in the air, and it comes down. It cracks Shmoopy a real whopper on the leg. And you hear like a really ugly crunch, and Shmoopy sort of falls to one knee, which is it's an entirely understandable but probably not very appreciable moment. You get hit in the knee and then fall on the bad knee. It's never going to be a good night. But yeah, as far as you're aware, you've just sort of been lurched downwards, and Shmoopy's going, ooh, in your face.
Hello.
Oh, my leg hurts.
Oh, so does mine.
And Shmoopy has been reduced to 3 HP. So yeah, Shmoopy is not looking great. Remember, Shmoopy's legs were already covered with large, horrible burns. So yeah, Shmoopy sort of he pulls you back and retreats. The hose is going absolutely crazy. It's just like gone over the side of the boat now. It's flailing wildly off the side of the boat, which is apparently what it wanted. It wanted to sort of straighten. So huzzah. So yeah, Zeke, Jerry, Anita, you're back inside the mess room. Jerry leads you back up the stairs to the bridge.
Okay, I will follow Jerry wherever he may lead. I gave him instructions, and for a small furry animal, trust him implicitly.
And he runs back up to the bridge. He runs to the front console. He stands up pretty much the same place where you came to rest when you did your awesome slide. And with one tiny... He stands up on his back legs, and with one tiny paw, he indicates the bottle and bride. Looks back at you and goes, "Nyah!"
I'll give him the nod and sort of pat him on the less bitey head, and I'll pat the bitey head as well and go, it's a good lad, and turn back into the wrecked bridge, and sort of look at the captain's wheel and go, if people can do it well tied to it, it can't be that hard, can it? And head over and sort of in an attempt to mimic the holding steady of the captain, or to move it back towards land, will turn.
Well, currently the wheel is tied to the captain, who is slumped off to the right. There are bounds from her wrists going to the spokes of the wheel.
Zeke will just move the body and the weight to the left. If the slumping right is what caused it to drift out,
to the right,
then left should.
So you're just going to drag the body across the floor to the left.
Yeah.
Okay. Is anyone looking out the windows at the front at the moment? Anita, what are you looking at right now?
Anita would have been having a go at Zeke all the way back up to the bridge, about giving her some warning about letting go of the hose.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yes, because if you recall, at the end of last episode, you just complimented him on you two thinking alike.
Yeah.
And apparently, like 6 or 7 seconds later, he's dropped the goddamn hose and left you in the breach.
Yeah, that'd be the one.
Again. So yeah.
So
you're standing there berating Zeke. Okay.
Yeah, but seeing him go to the wheel, she'd probably glance out the front.
Okay. You notice as he pulls the body across to the left, and the wheel continues to turn in a clockwise fashion. I imagine it'd probably be like another sort of quarter turn. You notice that the ship, if anything, is turning faster now. In the same direction.
Gonna turn back and yell at Zeke. Not working. We are now heading even more towards the Bottle and Bride.
So if the wheel turned clockwise and wasn't working, Zeke could use the cleaver that he acquired at Rachel's to disattach the captain from the wheel and turn it in a Widdershins direction.
Okay. Before you rotate the wheel Widdershins, I want you to give me an CC on Fluffle's wrist.
Okay. I was going to remove the bindings, but fair enough. CC.
Okay. Yeah. You. Screw it. It's more fun that way. Yeah. You swing for the bindings. You hit the knuckles. and you just slice into the hand, sort of down to the wrist, where it joins the metal cuff. And your cleaver sort of goes ting, and the blade snaps. Like 2/3 of the way along, just the top of the blade, where it's hit this chunk of metal, just cracks, and the top falls off. You now have a rather smaller, sillier-looking cleaver with almost a perfectly square blade, about the size of a post-it note. It's now more of a sharp hammer than a scary cleaver. But yeah, and with that, we shall go to Timi. Alright. Timi, you have dived down below decks. You're venturing into the deep. Alone.
So,
in the steam.
yeah, alone. In the steam and the dark.
Yep. And the
Seemed
dark
like a really good idea at the time.
Yeah. Are you going to go alone?
Yep.
Not going to bring Schmoopy?
But Schmoopy is laying on the floor, and I don't...
Schmoopy, when you last saw him, Schmoopy was just carrying your friend.
Yeah, no, I think Schmoopy needs to continue carrying Lamb for fear of having a bit of a Artex moment.
Fair enough. Well, I think this is the point where we ask, Kerone, you're currently in control of Schmoopy. What does Schmoopy do? Mm-hmm. Everyone's left him alone. His bestest friend in the whole world has just gone down below decks. There's finally a hole in the decks big enough for him to go down through.
Mm-hmm.
Easily.
Yeah, he'll follow.
Excellent.
You bastard.
Schmoopy hops on down. No problems. You know, it's only a little more than Schmoopy's height. The drop. So, you know, it's less jarring than it could be. But still, on an injured knee, it's not great. Yeah, you do the superhero landing on the other knee. Oh. Remember at the last moment, you've got painful burns and blisters all over your legs. But yeah. You flop down, carrying Lamb still, and there is Timi ahead of you. What are the two of you doing below decks? Timi, you're leading this expedition.
Okay, so Jimmy's thought was to try and find some kind of like supplies or like medical supplies, anything that could be raft-like. Maybe there might be doors or something that, you know, Schmoopy was big enough to carry stuff like that. Can I argue a perception for anything that we could give to Anita to patch someone up?
Yeah, you can always argue a perception.
Okay.
It's the guiding principle of roleplay games. You can always try.
A non-natural 12.
Okay, yeah, you look around. There is steam. There is lots of steam. There are wet, ruined things all around that have been soaked in horrible, like corrosive, radioactive seawater that's been sitting in the bottom, the rusty, underside of this ship for a very long time, and possibly some like oil waste as well. Hooray! Pumping out the sump. So yeah, you find like plenty of little scraps of cloth and bits of like waterlogged card and things like that. Like you get the impression that this was probably a storeroom. That's why you could see boxes before. Now you've jumped down, the boxes have collapsed. They were charred and rubbish, and most of them seem to be full of just crap. The sort of crap that salties would trade amongst each other because you can't get it at sea. You know, it's like little bits of twisted metal and little scraps of fabric, like cotton, for example. You can't grow cotton at sea. So little like old bits of like, you know, supermarket own brand T-shirts, that have been like ripped up and used as an oil rag for 50 years. But it's like, hey, it's usable fabric. Like, you got that? It's horribly waterlogged, partially burnt.
Okay. Ooh. No doors.
No, there's the part you've immediately jumped into. There are no walls. Where there previously were walls, there's sort of a stump, like a foot high, rising from the floor.
Yeah, so I think Timi's just going to turn around to Schmoopy and go, it's always been like this. Not us. And carry on down the corridor.
Yeah. There is a corridor in front of you, and there's one behind you, sort of, one fore and one aft sort of corridor. Sort of half the width of the ship across. There is a door in sort of the wall opposite the hull. But the place you've immediately jumped into, there were previously obviously like subdivided rooms, but the walls are now only about sort of 11 inches, a foot high.
Okay, but the door is still there.
There is a door in the wall.
Okay. And is that door open?
It's currently closed.
Okay. Is there a handle or?
It's one of those rather elaborate like wheel jobbies.
Okay.
Like a submarine door.
Yeah. So initially, I think Timi is going to attempt to open it.
Okay.
Is it a roll?
No.
Is it a?
No, this is just below decks bullshit. You just go over it.
Cool.
You give it a bloody good sort of heft, and it, in the sort of almost ritual attempt, 1, 2, 3. It always turns on the third try. It's not broken unless it doesn't turn till the fourth. It spins round. After a few turns, it just spins freely, and the door sort of pulls out towards you before opening on a hinge.
Cool. Yeah, she's going to go on in.
Okay. Door is actually a fair bit wider than the others you come across. Presumably below decks they actually have to move things like cargo between these rooms. So, Schmoopy can even get through this door. It's okay. So yeah, you head through the door. It is very dark on the other side of the door. There's pretty much just the light coming in from behind you, and there's not an awful lot of that because of all the smoke. You just sort of move into steamy darkness, basically. But in here, this looks like almost every below decks you've ever seen. This is what you would grasp as a salty as cargo area, which isn't to say that they move goods here, but they move people who aren't crew yet. So this is where women, children, old people, expectant mothers are. Currently there are none of those here, but you can see the telltale signs, like shit scratched in the floor, and people writing dirty words in corners where people think their mum can't see. Stuff like that. A few fag butts behind the sofa. So yeah, come on in, and it's a pretty domestic scene for you. I mean, anyone else would go, this is an industrial wasteland, it's awful. But, for you, it's like, this is homey. Schmoopy, you walk in, this is the clubhouse. Like, Schmoopy just walks in, and you'll hear him grumbling like, they never let me in here. This is where the cool guys hung out.
Is there anywhere where people would have sat to maybe be a bit more comfortable than sitting on the floor?
Yeah, there's like a ring of sofas around. around what was probably a fire pit. Which
Okay.
seems odd, but it's sort of a stove arrangement.
In which case, Timi is going to point to one of the sofas and say to Schmoopy, put Lamb down on one of them. It'll be more comfortable. Give your arms rest.
Okay. Lamb, you have been laid gently on a surprisingly comfortable sofa.
Aww.
But it's comfortable in the way that if you've ever, like, when you were 17, gone round to a mate's and he has his own sofa and all of the wooden supports in it are broken, but it just has really comfy pillows.
Right.
So you're placed on it and you nearly roll out forwards, but the pillows are really soft.
Mm.
And Schmoopy just sits on the entire sofa next to it.
Aww.
What now? There's, like, danger.
There is. We needed to see if we could find some supplies, but I don't think there's much down here. We probably ought to get back upstairs, but maybe, give Lamb a bit of a rest first.
Okay.
And Timmy's just going to kind of scratch around and see if there's anything in here that could be salvageable and that hasn't been waterlogged.
Well, this has been the other side of a sealable door from where all the water has been. So
Yeah.
as you scramble around, like this is dry. I mean, apart from there not being any lights on in here, it's pretty much untouched. It's a little dirtier than you're used to, but you already know that the skimmers don't really put much stock on cleaning. As you scrabble around, you find like a crate of beers, there's like a knocked together box full of smokables. It looks like this is like the lads' clubhouse room. It looks like, where, the younger, the people on the crew who think of themselves as young and trendy, come and chill out after a long day of work. This is probably the room specifically left on most boats for the purposes of replenishing crew over a longer period of time at sea. Yeah, but the impression it gives is somewhere between a pub and a youth club. It's kind of weird. That kind of, like, it's slightly adolescent in its tastes. But as you're sort of muddling around, you find that the stove actually has an electric fire in it, because clearly they didn't trust anyone with actual flames. And it's attached in the back of the stove to two very, very large van batteries. By like a frayed up sparking wire. And you could probably turn it on. Give Lamb some heat if you wanted.
No.
No. Okay. Fuck you then. So you stand there and you found a crate of beers and you found like a box of of the really good smoking kelp, and you're if nothing else, you've just sort of restocked your entertainment. Some of this, some of the booze you found might be alcoholic enough to be used as a sterilant. Maybe. And if it's not, Lamb won't be too worried.
Okay, so the alcohol that we found, what Timi is going to do is to open one and hand it over to Lamb in her best efforts of creating painkillers. And go, here you go. Get that down you.
Lamb drinks it.
Okay.
And she's going to drink one herself before indicating to Schmoopy that it's time for him to leave. He's not allowed in here.
Oh.
Pick Lamb up. Come on, let's get back up.
Okay. While you're doing this, you notice that Schmoopy has snuck himself a beer, and he's from the pocket of his shitty ripped up jeans, he's pulled out a length of copper pipe, and he stuffed it with something he's found down the side of the sofa, and he's attempting to light it off of the electric fire that's not lit. Because he's seen people do it, but he hasn't been allowed in here to know how it is meant to work. Yeah, so it kind of like someone trying to light a cigarette off of one of those like push-in car lighters, but they don't know to push it in. So he's just like poking the damn thing. Like, why? Work. Oh. Puts it back in his pocket and just finishes his beer. He leaves the beer bottle on the sofa. But yeah, he picks up Lamb. It's like, nice to have a beer with you guys. And yeah, heads back and out. Right, back on the bridge. Back to the action. Fraternity scene. So yes, back on the bridge, you're discovering how wheels work. You've shunted the captain all the way to the left. The boat has continued to turn. You've now grasped the principles of the steering wheel. What are you doing with those principles? With your busted cleaver.
I think after having busted the cleaver and not sort of holding out much hope for the post-it note sized square, Zeke would have sort of tried to get Anita to help him to use the captain to turn the wheel anti-clockwise.
Okay. How exactly are you going to attempt to use this corpse to turn the wheel the other way?
Assuming if they are lashed to the spokes, it would be a case of turn body like so until the wheel moved in the correct direction. Hence it being a two-man job.
Couldn't the body flap?
Seeing Zeke do this, Anita just suggests, have you tried moving the wheel without moving the body?
Well, the body's chained to the wheel at the wrist, so...
Yeah, but the wheel will still turn.
Zeke will sort of take a step back and gesture to allow you to give it a try.
Anita grabs the wheel and turns it to the opposite direction that Zeke did first.
Okay, once you get the wheel to about halfway back around, the chains go taut. Because they're anchored to a person who's laying on the floor.
Zeke, pick the body up so it's upright, and then this might be able to go further.
Yeah,
Please.
I will.
You go and arms under the armpits. Yeah. Almost like a Heimlich manoeuvre. You attempt to pick up Captain Fuzzles. Your arm is still injured, so give me a strength. Give me a grapple. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt. This is a grapple.
Can I argue? I suppose you want a grapple strength, won't you?
Yeah.
Can't argue a grapple dex.
You're not cunningly trying to overcome this corpse's struggles.
That's 6 on the die, so some units. A 9.
Yeah. I mean, Fuzzle wasn't a tiny person, but nor is Zeke, an incredibly weak person. So yeah, you after a few moments of sort of strain, because you're trying not to use the bad arm too much, you get her up. And you recently hurt your good arm, trying to shoulder barge through a steel door. Yeah, you in the way of someone who's been working out heavily the previous day. You know, picking up and go, ooh, as the muscles pull taut. But yeah, you pull her up and kind of. It must be very awkward to try and fit 3 people into a space that's meant to be occupied by 1, you know, in front of this wheel. But yeah, the chains are no longer taut, and you can turn them back. It looks like the chains have been applied in such a way that they go slack when the ship's going straight forward.
Okay.
Makes sense. Really? Glad I thought of that. So yeah, you've managed to steer the ship back to straight ahead.
Quick glance out. Are we still heading to the Bottle and Bride?
You're still heading in the general direction of the Bottle and Bride. You're actually now gonna head a little. Oh fucking hell! What's it called? You're gonna head a little forward of it. But when the boat explodes, as you're still pretty sure it might, that's still not going to be great for your friends of the Bottle and Bride.
Okay, now it's not heading directly towards the Bottle and Bride. Anita's going to see if she can find a stop button.
A stop button.
Big red stop button.
Okay.
Yeah. Or something that's an on-off button, or something like that.
Okay, there are a veritable galaxy of buttons, dials, switches, screens, all over the place. I believe there was sort of a hail of gunfire that destroyed some, and a rather serious altercation that ruined some others. So, the ones that still seem to work, there are many, 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 many very old school like metal flick switches. Some of which have like little embossed sign written like label maker style like abbreviations underneath. You have no idea what any of them mean.
Okay. Remembering back to when she was young, many years ago, she remembers seeing a film that's got that on a boat with the big thing with the all head full, pull it back to all head back.
So she watched Titanic.
Yeah.
She watched Titanic and maybe caught like one episode of like Deadliest Catch or something. And now it's like, I think I might know how to use a boat.
Basically.
Okay. So yeah, you give me a perception. You're looking around for anything that seems familiar from those. Zeke, you're just wrestling a corpse. You might, you could probably try and put her down a bit closer to the wheel. The weight of her would hold the wheel still if you put her.
I had been thinking, it may be an idea to sort of push the body up against the wheel and turn it more counterclockwise, so the boat starts to lift towards shore instead of into the ocean.
You're aware that the ship is still moving forwards. If you make it go counterclockwise, anti-clockwise, widdershins to port, it will turn through where the Bottle and Bride is. Before hitting the pier.
Yeah, no, then I'll just sort of place the body as neatly as I can to keep the chains straight, and have a peek over the edge to sort of see how the fire progresses.
Let's deal with this in a fun and interesting way. Give me an intellect roll for you to use the principles of basic geometry to try and work out how to balance this corpse.
I got a non-natural 12 on my perception.
Okay. On a non-natural 12 of perception, you spot what you're pretty sure is a speed gauge. And something you watched once, it was probably that one with those fishermen. They had a speed gauge and it said knots on it. And you know that's what that is. You don't know what knots are or what numbers are good or bad, but it's fairly high. So just the needle on the gauge is fairly high. You don't know what the scale is on the gauge.
No.
Are you ready for this
Yes.
incredible roll?
What's your geometry score? Is that a 1?
That is a 1.
Excellent.
And Zeke's intelligence is a grand total of a 1.
Excellent. So with a 2, you are absolutely convinced that the best way of keeping this ship on an even keel is to drop her.
Okay.
Just to drop her.
Yeah.
Gravity will deal with it. It will be fine.
It's gravity's problem now.
Yeah. So as Anita steps to the side and starts looking for something that might help you stop or possibly control the ship in some way, you just drop the body. Right. This is how we will deal with this. Kerone, you are anti-clockwise. Give me a D10 roll.
Oh, hang on.
Spanners, you are clockwise. Give me a D10 roll.
I have scored 2.
So if you get a 0, does that mean 10 or 0 on these now?
It means 10.
10.
So 10 then.
Excellent. You drop the corpse, and the wheel spins clockwise. Ever so slightly, only like a quarter turn. It's just sort of where you were standing, slightly off to one side. That's how the corpse sort of falls and slumps. And once again, the boat starts listing lazily off to starboard again. Just further out to sea. Oh, God.
Are
Yeah.
we still heading away from the Bottle and Bride?
Yeah, you're still heading past the Bottle and Bride.
Okay.
You won't be hitting it, but you will be sailing past it.
That's fine. We could always just jump onto the Bottle and Bride as we go past.
You won't be going that close.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, but well, you never know what O'Neill and the crew might do. They might come alongside. But yeah, right. Shrimpy and Timi, below decks. You've had a beer. You've sat on a sofa. You've stolen some salty wacky backy. What are you doing with the rest of the beer? Did you nick the rest of the beers? You found a case.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
we brought those with us.
Okay, so you've got a big scarred up dude carrying a little scarred up dude, and a young lady wearing not an awful lot, because I seem to remember you took off most of the armour you were given.
Yep.
Walking along carrying a crate of beer.
Yep.
So basically every night from the ages of 17 to 21.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hooray! That happened to someone else. You were just nearby. Or at least in my life, it was sad.
Yeah, I think the only thing missing here is a traffic cone. Head back towards the hole
Okay.
in what would now be the ceiling.
Yep. You walk back through the door. You're back in the ruined room. That's
And,
all horrible and waterlogged and steamy.
This could go horribly wrong. Timmy is going to suggest to Shmoopy that Shmoopy put Lamb above the hole gently before helping us out.
Okay. Kerone, give me a D12 roll for Shmoopy.
8.
That's not actually half bad. Okay. I mean, Shmoopy sucks in terms of dexterity, but that's not terrible. It's sort of marginal. Shmoopy very delicately, very slowly, very calmly throws you. In the way of someone who sort of, he reaches, he basically he lifts you as high as the floor is next to you, and then just sort of shimmies you sort of along, kind of like someone sliding a pizza into an oven, but just gently thrown, just a short distance. Don't worry, it's not fragile. In the way of someone throwing you a beer from across the room. But yeah, you hit the deck. It's surprisingly warm. This metal deck, surprisingly warm and quite gritty and horrible. It doesn't feel pleasant at all. But you are, for the moment, unharmed.
Hooray!
It probably feels quite nice, to be honest. I'm not sure how with it you really are. Shmoopy turns round and like, help friend, and he like cups his hands to give you a boost.
Yep. Timi will climb up and attempt to climb out of the hole.
Yeah. And he gives you a boost. He like lifts you up to like his chest height, where you can like step onto his shoulder. At which point, it's probably like
Floor height.
waist height.
Yep.
You can sort of hop up. So yeah, you hop on up. At this point, Shmoopy's just standing in the hole. Getting down was easy. Getting up is always harder, especially through like a jagged hole of hot metal. I go that way, and Shmoopy just vanishes for a bit. So you're left standing on the deck with Lamb. Shmoopy just goes through one of the corridors below decks, and you're sort of standing like rather confused for a few moments, and then he comes out. He pokes his head out through the door of the mess. He's just like, "Hello, can you bring friend? Door. It's not good."
Right. Could have told us that before you threw him, though.
Okay.
All right then, Shmoopy. Pick him up.
Okay. He like reaches through the door. He's a bit too far away. Like reaches like, because we've established it's quite difficult for him to get through these doors. He sort of gets on his knee, which is not great for him, and sort of reaches around, just sort of grabs Lamb by the collar and like drags him along until he can get the other hand to him. Like picks him up by like collar and belt. Okay. Don't worry, friend. Once again, cradling you like a baby in the mess.
Suppose we ought to work out where the others went then.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're going to take us where the captain is then?
What?
Where the captain steers the ship.
Oh, okay. He leads you back up to the bridge. He looks at you a few times like you might have hit your head. He looks a little concerned. You've literally only left that room like 5 minutes ago. He's a little worried for you. Yeah. Okay. So yes, you're all once again in the bridge. There is still a fire on the deck. There is no fire through the hole immediately. The captain is still slumped off to the right of the wheel. The ship is still turning. The fire is still burning. What has changed here? This is almost like
We've
a hard
gone full
reset.
circle.
Yeah. No, but give it a few minutes. The boat will work it out eventually. Yes.
Seeing the others walk in the room, Anita's going to just turn to Timi and go, "Any idea which is the stop button?"
Can Timmy see a button at this point?
No.
Levers?
Timmy's knowledge of salty technology is such that you are fairly sure that the speed of the engines would not be controlled from the bridge. The bridge is for steering. Bridge is for steering and navigating and things.
Okay.
You know, give me a knowledge. Because this is recalling a detail that you saw earlier. Crit! Excellent. You recall that there was a Rusty in here. The only other place you see Rusties is in engine rooms, normally. So it would stand to reason that someone goes between here and the engine room. Probably quite regularly.
Okay.
I mean, if there isn't a shouting tube or something, there might be just a runner system.
So Timmy's going to start looking for things like that might look like funnels. And would need to be within shouting distance, or potentially even like grasping distance of the wheel, because if the captain's got hands on the wheel, they're not going to be able to like pick up receivers or anything. So is there a funnel type object?
Not around the wheel. It did occur there were other stations on this bridge.
Okay.
And you're not entirely sure what most of them did. You were fairly sure someone was navigating, and someone else was doing something else. And there were 4 people here. And there were consoles at the front. God knows what they do.
Okay. So Timmy's going to go up to some of the consoles that are at the front, and have a poke around and see if there's anything on there.
Okay. As you're poking around up there, one thing you do notice is there is from the console on the far right, there is a black metal box with a grill on the front of it. And there is a clear green sort of, hole, basically. A hole with a sort of clear green flat thing inside with a red line. And there's numbers above and below. And hanging off of this on a broken wire, it's sort of all frayed. It's not like actually snapped, but it's frayed. It's been patched like 30 or 40 times. Is a black plastic box that's also got a grill on it with a button on the side. The button is a bright, cheerful orange. It looks like it's been replaced.
Timmy's going to press it.
You press it, and in the grand tradition of all things, it makes a horrible noise. Because that's what happens when you press the button on a radio. It's not, but that's what it should do. What it should do. It tells you it's a radio by making that horrible staticky noise.
She would have been around these before, though, wouldn't she? So that wouldn't be like a surprising noise.
You might have seen people using them, but you probably wouldn't have used one yourself. All in all, your familiarity with radios would probably be the same as someone who's watched a lot of war films. It's a thing that people pick up and shout stuff at. How it works, what they're doing, changing frequencies, what means what.
Yeah, so she's going to just like pick it up because she's seen other people use them before, and just like hold the button down and just start shouting, "Stop the bloody boat!"
To be sure, what are you shouting? "Stop the bloody boat" in English or salty?
In salty.
Okay. Oh. Lamb, you hear someone screaming, "Stop the bloody boat!" Which is fine. Anita, it occurs to you that you've actually been to the engine room of the ship, and someone panically handed you a hose. So you know there's an engine room full of people working away with a large engine that's like throttling off. But hey, you still even remember where it is. But anyway, you've just shouted down a radio, "Stop the bloody boat." After a few moments, a rather confused reply comes back of like, "What? Stop? Why?"
"This is your captain. Stop the bloody boat."
You're not the captain.
"I'm now.
Captain
Want
can't
to
reach
come
the
up here and
radio.
argue?"
Captain can't reach the radio? That's absurd.
"Well, there's a new order up here now. Stop the boat, otherwise you're all going to end up burned to death."
I'm not taking threats from the likes of you. We've got borders, lads. And communication cuts off.
Oh, God. Well, there's someone down there alive.
And
At least
Anita,
established that.
Yeah. Anita, you get told there are people alive below decks and go, "Oh yeah, I knew that."
yeah, there's engine room. People in the engine room. I was there earlier. That's where I got the hose from.
They don't like us very much.
They're fine with me.
They're not going to stop the boat.
If you know where the engine room is, can you stop the boat?
Probably.
Okay. And just follow me.
Yeah.
And I
The
head
engine
towards the
note
engine.
that's sort of been omnipresent the whole time you've been on this vessel, it gets sort of imperceptibly louder. The rhythm changes a bit, and the little needle above the wheel starts to nudge higher. You get the impression that if the enemy wants us to stop, we're going to go faster. Is the course of action that the Rusties are taking.
Anita's going to turn to Zeke and say, "I think we might need your gun," and then leg it down to towards the engine room. And she's going to pull out her gun as well.
Zeke will unshoulder Tilly and head down as quickly as he can behind Anita.
How many bullets do you have left for Tilly? She fired like 15 odd last session.
I have one clip of 17 bullets left.
Okay, I say you've probably only got like.
I started with 3. Yeah, that's about right.
I was just thinking you fired like 15 wildly in the fight last time. You fired 1 to break the window, so you currently have 1 bullet in your rifle. You have a spare clip, that's fine. But I'm just like, this probably occurs to you. You're like, "We probably need the gun." You're like, yeah. Just a minute. Where did I put it? It's been a while since you've had to reload. Things have happened. Men have died. Ships have been burned. Explosions. gone swimming. Yeah. Before you know it, you've run down the 3 flights of just, what's Schmoopy doing in all of this? What's Lamb having Schmoopy do?
Oh,
There's been radio contact. There are people running around. I mean, Schmoopy's pretty torn about the whole thing of fighting his old friends, but
he's gonna go over to the radio. He's gonna copy what Timi did,
okay.
and
Is Lamb going to attempt to imitate the crew's rather different accent?
Yes,
Go on then.
that's exactly what Lamb's gonna do.
Go on then. You can do it.
This is your captain. And the old captain has run away.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a situation. If we go any further forward, we crash. So best stop. Yeah. Over.
After a few moments of what you can strangely sense is puzzled silence, you get a reply back just like, I don't know who you are, but we're not French. Nor are you the captain. And Fuzzles wouldn't run away. I don't really know what to say to you. Everyone else has left.
He clips back on and says, he would if he was chased by big monster.
Fuzzles was a she.
Oh yes, you're right. That's nice.
So, what's it like up there? I'm not allowed to go up there. You just start having a chat with like the mechanics, like Oiler Boy.
It burns.
What? You're weird.
The fire is everywhere.
Wow, it really is terrible up there. I'm glad I'm in the engine room. And he just hangs up at this point.
Hello? He's just gonna constantly tap the button.
Okay.
Hello? He's gonna
No one's answering anymore. No one's answering anymore at all.
He's just gonna lay back in Schmoopy's arms again.
Okay. Yeah. Schmoopy's gonna pick up the radio now. She'll be like, "It's Schmoopy on radio. Hey, I know word. It's good. I like radios. Radios are good. Could you stop the boat, please? The captain is dead." And you hear the same person like, "The captain's dead. Oh no, I don't know how to stop the engines. If I would ask someone, but everyone's busy. Maybe if I turn this," and you hear sort of a wrench of steel, grating on steel, and sort of like a rush of steam sort of sound. Ah! Oh, oh, it hurts! No, not that one. Oh, you get the impression that he's like fucked with like the cooling system or something. The engine note changes again. It now sounds less healthy. Yes, let's rejoin the raiding party going downstairs. You run down the 3 flights of stairs. I believe you turned left and left again because I can't remember the directions from like 4 episodes ago. So, you come back to the door of the engine room. It's locked. It's very clearly locked.
Is it locked with? Is there like an obvious like keyhole or?
It's another one of these like turn wheel, top and bottom lock things. But this one has like a big like a round telltale cutout. Whereas normally, like when it's unlocked, it's green. When it's locked, it's red, and it's currently red. You get the impression that maybe in better days this would indicate there's something terribly wrong going on in the engine bay. And you need to seal it. But you get the impression that, it might just be the Rusties being belligerent. Because earlier it was open and they chatted with Anita. Admittedly, they were panicked and you told them there was a fire. They handed you a hose, but, You also notice that the hose is pinched off in the door.
Can I need to try and turn the wheel to open it?
You can give it a go.
Yeah.
It doesn't move
I
at
need to
all.
try.
Tink, tink. You try once, you strain against it once, you do it again. Timmy's like, do it a third time. It always opens on the third time. Reach forward again. Nope. At which point you notice the locked telltale in the top corner.
Any idea how the locks on these things work, Timi?
I would have thought from the other side. But there must be some kind of fail-safe in case you need to get into the engine room in case there is like an emergency. Would Timi know about that?
Timmy's experience would mainly be on smaller ships.
Mm.
So.
Yeah, she used to make mechanicals for them.
Mm.
So whether she was involved in doors and locking, I don't know.
You might recognise the mechanisms if you saw them.
Mm.
But you wouldn't know where to look for them.
No.
Yeah.
So what can they see around them at the moment?
At the moment you are in a fairly dark corridor, sort of rusty and unkept in the same way as everything else here. Immediately ahead of you is a metal door with the red lock telltale. There is a small metal box on the wall next to it, with what are essentially small black buttons underneath. 3 of them. And it's got a grill on it. And there is a broken light over the top of the door.
Okay. So the 3 black buttons, Timi is going to press the middle one.
Okay. It makes like a buzzing noise for a few moments. And and then a rather familiar voice pipes up. Hello? Can I come out yet?
Yes, it is all safe.
What?
In a really bizarre, salty accent. Because Timi can't hear herself.
Yeah, give him manipulate. You are transparently trying to manipulate someone.
That is going to be a 9.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Okay. Voice on the other side's like, Barry, is that you? These things never bloody work. I can never hear anyone. After a few moments, you hear a sort of a buzz and a click, and the wheel on the door starts to turn, rather jerkily. Once, twice, and it just spins freely. Oh, bloody hell! I thought it was broken that time. And the door opens, and there before you is a very short, rather weedy, very pasty young fella in almost clean overalls with just like a few smears of rust on them. He's very pimply. He's got like black, lank, greasy hair. Yeah, he's got a big pimple on the end of his nose. Door opens just like a crack. He goes, "Hello."
As he pokes his head out, Zeke will raise the as Timi got in to open the door, Zeke will raise the butt of Tilly and sort of smash him just here as that appears in the doorway.
All right. Shit.
Take you on an arm CC for that?
Yes.
14.
Jesus fuck. Okay. Okay. For the sake of trying not to make out my heroic players as complete arseholes, I will give him a reflex save to dodge back. And he fucking crits. So yeah, he pulls back. Give me. What's your strength bonus?
Strength bonus is 3.
Yeah. He manages to pull back out of like the main impact, just doing your strength bonus in damage. So you get like a crunch, and you clearly like when you pull back Tilly, there's some horrible gunk on the butt from the big ripe pimple you just burst. You're like, my bloody toes.
And sort of as Tilly comes back, Zeke will put his hand, his admittedly weaker hand, on the door and sort of wrench it open.
While Zeke's doing that, Timi is going to step forward and use a trick taught to me by a person who shall remain nameless, and take just the lock of his the crown of his lank hair and wind a finger around in almost a helicopter movement until it's wound around her finger, and just pull him up until he's sort of face to face with her.
No.
You need to stop the damn boat.
I don't know how.
Well, let's go and find
Just
someone
the oiler
who.
boy.
Oh, you're going to be less than that in a minute. And so she takes him and almost like walks him like on a leash, but using this lock of hair that's slowly just kind of pulling out. And each time it comes loose, she just winds it round a bit more and just grabs a bit more hair.
I don't even have hair, and that makes me uncomfortable. So you proceed on into the engine room?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wonderful. With poor Slowboy, the oiler boy. Lovely put fellow. You horrible people torturing him. So yes, are you going to close the door behind you? Or are you going to leave it open? Are you going to advertise your presence? Are you going to whoop loudly?
Anita's going to quietly shut the door.
And I think that's where we're going to leave it tonight. As you grab this poor man by the hair and drag him back into his place of work. There is how Anita going, oh, that will never do. And closing the door. Closing the door. As the camera pulls back from the scene, we just see the door lock. And hear, oh! And there we are. That's that for tonight. So, yeah. Once again, I cannot remember what the hell I say at the end of these things. So, yeah. Yeah. I really can't.
Go around and
Just, I was so desperately trying to improvise what that poor man who I made up on the spot was going to say. So yeah, screw it. I was thirsty. I was the world and all of the fire and idiots within, and the steam. And the most notable thing I did today was apparently design like a rumpus room for some people who you killed in an explosion. Hooray! So, without further... okay. That was an odd thing.
My dice box.
Yes. Huzzah. Without further ado, we shall go through the players and ask, who are they? What do they think of things? And so, Kerone!
Yes, hello. I was Kerone. That was interesting. Spent most of it just walking around. I did like my little conversation with the guy over the radio.
Why did you pick French? Why did you pick exaggerated Monty Python French?
I couldn't think quick enough to what the accent should be. So I just opened my mouth and away it went, basically.
All right.
But yeah, so there you go. That just happened. But yeah, other than that, I didn't really do much. Just wandered around, tried not to die, and had a drink.
Yeah.
Which was nice. But yeah, so that was a lot of fun. You can find me on the interwebs at jqs.org.uk for all information about my short film, which will be out at some point in the next couple of months. You can go to a cinema and watch it. You can also find me on Twitter at jqs.org.uk. No, you can find me on Twitter. It's because I said everything back to front. I've confused myself. You can find me on Twitter at Kerone_BTP. There we go. Wasn't quite as smooth as it usually is. But hey ho.
I mean, hell, I forgot to do all my contact stuff. So, next, and now we shall go in Western European reading order from Spanners.
Ooh. Hello, I'm Spanners. I'm Timi, and I still didn't get to murder anyone in cold blood.
Give it a few seconds.
Yeah, give it a while. Cool. Yes. No, that was really fun. That was really fun. We did not achieve our aim, but we shall. But yes, so you can find me on Twitter at Spanners_ACX. You can find me all over the internet, in all the good places, not the bad places. You can find me on Amazon with my book.
Yay!
And other places, podcasts. Dark Dice, go listen to it. It's amazing. And gruesome and stuff. Best sound effects ever. And Counterbalance coming soon. The teaser is out today. Go find it.
Productive.
Yay!
Right. And now we should go to other people like Lilth.
I'm Lilth. I was playing Anita tonight, and she put out more of the fire that she may or may not have started.
Definitely started. Definitely started. You caused all of the problem here.
Maybe.
Yes.
I'm trying to solve it at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's something. That's
Responsible arsonist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Your firefighting efforts are sort of the participation trophy of not having set this boat on fire. You participated in it not being on fire.
Yes.
By setting it on
absolutely.
fire and then putting it out.
Yeah.
Not some of it. You put some of it out. Huzzah.
Yeah.
Well.
You can find me here. You can find me on Twitter at Lilth21. You can find me on Saturday evenings at 9 p.m. GMT on Kit Battlebeard's Twitch channel, playing Dungeons and Dragons. That is Defenders of the Dawn. No, Defenders of the Dawn. Dusk. One or the other.
Defenders of the Dawn and
I'm not
Dusk.
the
They do both.
Yeah. I'm not the only one that gets that muddled up. Kit does too.
Defenders of the Dawn and the Dusk and the Twilight and Defenders of the Twilight. That sounds like a really good 80s cartoon.
Yeah, or a really bad vampire movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Defenders of the Twilight.
You can also find me this Saturday at midnight GMT, so technically Sunday, playing a third special of Masks. Second one I've done on Kit's channel again.
Yeah.
It will be hilarious. It's being run by Polish Ogre, who is the GM for Corpses and Curios. And it's always hilarious.
There you are. You heard it here. Always hilarious. That's not a guarantee from me, so I don't have to live up to that.
I do.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You said it here to all of the 4 or 5 people who are here. So yes. And did everything there? Was that it? Was that all you had?
That's all I've got.
Share? I mean, you're all making me look incredibly lazy by comparison. So, Eivor, who are you?
Yeah.
Where were you? Where did you have fun? Where else can we find you? What's going on?
I've been Eivor playing Zeke. That was very enjoyable, and I can't wait for next week to bring brand new meaning to the phrase serial soul survivor. You can find me on Twitter at Eivor_DNABC, or otherwise in the pagan north sacrificing goats.
You heard it here first. Sacrificing goats. Oh. How lucky we are that we all live, the rest of us live in the civilized south, at least most of the time. But hey, at least most of the time. I saw that look around.
Yeah.
So yes, that was that. Yeah. And if anyone, for any reason, wants to find me, you can find me on Twitter, thirsty_BTP. You can find me on bloodthirstypuppets.co.uk when I actually remember to update stuff again, because I haven't for a very long time. You can find me here on Mondays, because here I am. Hello. And you can find this episode on YouTube when I remember to put it there. So all of you folks who watched this tonight, live with us, huzzah! And why didn't you talk to us on chat? We were right here. You could have said hello. All of you who are watching this later on YouTube, it's too late to talk in chat now. And all of you who didn't watch this, because you didn't watch it. So, yeah. Time to bye, bitches. Drink up.
Bye.
Tra. We're out.
Properly out or just
In
the credits?
outro card, dude. Outro card.
Card.
Yeah.
Well, it's the way you said it. It was like, screw it.
No.
So does that mean that we need to like all survive Zeke and have some like Viking funeral for him next time?
Technically, all you need to do is cobble together a small boat and he'll have a Viking funeral all of his own.
To be fair, all you need to do is abandon Zeke on this boat, and he'll have a Viking funeral all of his own.
Exactly. You've got a pre-made Viking funeral just waiting to happen to someone. Oh. Yeah, as always, guys, thanks for playing.
Oh, I love it.
Always good to be
thank
able to
you.
drag you together and play a game. Yeah.
See you in a bit.